Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, Rachakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom, Shalom. This is Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 9. Honor Yahweh bahasham, YAHAWASHI with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thy increase. Okay, so we gotta give the Lord, our full strength, man. When you wake up in the morning, you gotta be thinking about Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Can't be thinking about, let me take care of this stuff, oh, I gotta get groceries, I gotta do the job stuff, or I gotta text this female I've been talking to, see what she's up to, and then later I'll get to the truth, after I eat or something. Next thing you know, okay, it's time to go to bed and you're half asleep and you forgot to do your video. You see? Or, maybe you meet up with the brothers at a certain time, you do your studies at a certain time, and next thing you know, you're slacking, or, you forget, and if you forget to do the things that, are required of you, then that means that the Lord has not been on your mind, man. And we know the scriptures say in Sirach 6, let's get that real quick. This is Sirach chapter 6 and verse 37, I believe. It says, let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. So we're commanded to be, constantly meditating on the Lord, man, because the Lord is supposed to be first and foremost in our life, man. Okay, this truth that we're in, okay, everything else is second place. Okay, and I'm making this video, speaking to myself first and foremost, man, because I messed up, all right, and I got rebuked for it, but it is what it is. That's you gotta take rebuke and learn, because that's what builds you up. Okay, you don't build yourself up by being soft or continuing in your folly. All right, like the scripture says, a righteous man falls 7 times and gets back up. All right, you don't just wallow in the mud. So, with that being said, this is a good video to watch too. If any of your brothers out there noticing, that you've been procrastinating, or, forgetting certain things, or you notice that you're not as on fire as you used to be, okay, you got to always maintain that passion for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and get 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 40. It says, let all things be done decently and in order. Okay, again, so the truth is the first priority in our life, man. Okay, being in this truth, all right, the ministry, your studies, okay, how you treat brothers, okay, and staying in order, okay, conducting yourself as the scriptures say, not just teaching what the scriptures say, but actually living it, okay? And, again, you got to put the Lord first. You can't forget about the Lord, okay? That's the number one thing in this truth, man. I mean, that's the first commandment, okay? And we're going to grab that. Exodus 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You see, that was the first of the 10 commandments, okay? Because, that's how our nation, Yasharallah, basically ended up going off, all right? And that's why we're in captivity to this day, because we were worshiping these other idols, all right? These dumb idols. They cannot talk. They cannot do anything for themselves. And we were over here worshiping, sacrificing, and following their ways and their laws, right? Which, ultimately we learned that from the heathen, man, all right? And now it's time to come back to our heritage, okay? And those of you that are in this truth, okay, we got to continue, man. It's not something that you just do it once and then you just slack off, all right? The scripture says endure unto the end, Okay? And that means enduring distractions, enduring boredom, enduring hardship, anything that comes your way, you know, is potentially an obstacle to this truth. And you got to, you know, stay vigilant and always be on top of it. And, you know, just monitor yourself, man, and make sure that you ain't, you know, fucking up. All right? This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 30. It says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength. You see? So you gotta love the Lord with your strength. Meaning, okay, when you're strong, you know, let's say you just wake up in the morning, you're full of energy. Okay? You know, instead of putting that energy into all the other bullshit and then leaving the Lord for the end, all right, put that into the Lord first. Get your first video done in the beginning of the day. All right, that's a good way to go about it. You know, I heard that from certain elders that said that as well. Because you can think about what happened with Cain and Abel, okay? Abel gave the Lord the best sacrifice, and Esau gave the Lord, you know, bullshit, okay? And you see what happened to Esau, man, okay? Even though it was ordained, okay, we still gotta, you know, because we don't know if we're the elect. There's no way to fully know until the end. So, you know, we're all fighting for that crown. So if you're gonna fight, you might as well fight to win, not fight like somebody that's punching the air, you know, which I believe Paul talks about that as well. Okay, so let's read that again. It says in Mark 12 and 30, and thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. You see, that's a very important commandment, okay? And it's important to think about it, man. All right, think about these things. All right, life is not just bread. Life is not just clothing. Life is not just these carnal things that's going to pass away. All right, all this bullshit is going to pass away. And the only thing that's going to remain is this truth. And, you know, you don't want to end up being on the wrong side of it, you know, getting destroyed. Because ultimately, this destruction is not just for Esau. All right, this great nuclear destruction of America is also for the 2/3. All right. So yeah, we gotta, you know, keep pushing, keep believing, and stay strong in the faith. Putting the Lord first place in our life. All right, not putting the Lord second, third, fourth, or fifth. All right, not forgetting to, you know, not becoming slack. All right. So yeah, man, with that, I pray this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa abba babal. Shalom.